Hello, everyone, and welcome to a chat with Huite. In this channel, we talk about success, prosperity, going to the top. So, if you want to learn more about those types of topics, I would like you to hit the subscribe button, right? And so today, as you can see in the title, we're going to talk about how your company influences your net worth. They say your network is equals to your net worth. So I remember when I was at high school, I used to fail a certain subject. I didn't find it difficult, but somehow I used to fail it. And then when we were taken to the next grade, when I moved on to the next grade, I was made to sit next to somebody who always used to get like 90% in this subject. And guess what? My marks like automatically improved. I went from getting like 60s to like top range of 70s and 80s sometimes because I sat next to a girl who used to get 90s in this subject. Amazing, right? But it's one of the laws of life. So if you want to learn more about this, stay watching because at the end we're going to do a practical. We're going to get a nice simple tip where you're going to actually use this information that you're learning today to actually improve your life, right? So one important thing is that we must realize that our environment makes us, right? We acclimatize to our environment. It's like how these animals camouflage to look like their environment, right? Our senses, what we see every day, what we hear every day, once it gets on the inside of us, it transforms us to accept our environment, right? Because our body and our mind always want to make sure that we're safe. So when we start to think something totally different, even though it's good, our mind says that it's not good. If you live in an environment where you are caged, where you're expected to think small, where you're expected to only work a 9 to 5, for example, that's a difficult one. When you start thinking, I want to do a business, and in your family, not one person is doing business, everybody is in the corporate environment, your mind is actually going to shield you from actually starting businesses. And it's actually going to tell you that you're going to fail, because that's what you have been seeing all around you. So your environment is very important, which is why it's very important to choose the people that you surround yourself with, right? That's number one, environment. And then number two, your belief system. We actually covered that also. Your belief system. When you start to see somebody getting 90% in this thing, you're like, okay, so this thing is simple. We're doing this, right? You may not hear yourself say it. That person actually may not even necessarily mentor you in words and say, hey, no, this thing is simple, right? No, you just know, your knower can see evidence that this thing is possible, and this person is not even working hard, they're playful. Like your subconscious mind starts to say, we can do this and we're doing this, and you just chillax, and then next thing, boom, you're doing what you've always wanted to do, right? So it's important to realize that you don't always, as you grow older, it's time up to just choose a friend because you have chemistry, you have only similar interests, but they're not adding value to where you need value added, right? So it's important to choose and realize that, okay, fine, I want to have an amazing family, right? I remember one time when my mom's cousin wanted to get married. She came to my mom's house, came with the fiance, and just to introduce her to my mom and dad, and just to talk to them. And I thought, and he's not someone that used to visit my mom before, and I didn't find it important as a kid then. And then I realized, he's had his siblings and even other close cousins who ended up in divorce, and he did not want that. And it's so amazing. He knew what to do. He knew that he had to get around people who will make sure that his family stands the test of time. Because my mom, she had been married for like 40 years until around 40 years until my around 50 years actually, until or 40, until my dad passed. And this cousin of my mom's, up until now, he's still married, and hopefully in a happy marriage, right? And as a successful guy, I've seen him do this. I remember recently because one of my relatives drives a Mercedes Benz, and she's from far, and he heard that she's driving a Mac, and he was like, I mean, he wasn't even at this event where everybody else saw the Mercedes. And you know what he did? He called up my aunt and all excited. And he seems to always want to be, around people who are doing well, because he knows that they will push him even higher, and this guy has always done well. I remember he was an ambassador like in Europe somewhere, and stuff like that. So it shows that in this day and age, or in our lives, we really have to be intentional about who we have around you, depending on where we want to go, right? So birds of a feather flock together. So the practical thing that I want to share is that, like, choose 3 areas in your life where you want to improve. You can choose your career, choose finances, choose family, or even up to 5 things, right? And then find people around you who you admire in these areas. Write them down. Write the names of these people. And then decide that in the next year, the next 12 months from here, you're going to keep in touch with these people. You're going to be involved in their lives. You're going to talk to them more often. You're going to draw closer to them and see if things will not change around your life. I remember I did this, I think, last year. I feel like I gained a lot, starting to decide who is going to be in my circle and what I want to get out of there. And I remember I was talking to this cousin of mine, they've always been like wealthy and stuff. And I wanted her in my circle closer. She's older. I mean, obviously we're cousins, we relate, but you're like, I want to be a part of this person's life, to see where it can take me. And, recently I learned, my mind expanded, because when she would talk about money, she would talk larger numbers. You understand? I mean, she would talk, I've always heard about saving, right? I've always tried to learn about money and finances. But getting it straight from this person that's next to me is totally different. Because they talk about saving money, and these are thousands and thousands of money. And she's talking about not being in debt, and she's like paying her car in like 2 years, brand new car. And you're just like, your mind expands, it shifts, it changes. And you start to realize, okay, I can do this. And this is how it's done. And that's how you find yourself debt-free. That's how you find yourself with increased finances. Because this person is busy saying, hey, people are spending money. And she's got more money than these people. And she's like, some people want to look super good, what. And she's busy like saving a lot, And so I hope you really heard this. If you're going to write down those 3 people, I want you to comment down below and tell me that you've actually done that. You can write on your notepad on your phone or something, but make sure that you write even their phone numbers there, and you start to chit chat with them, find out where they hang out, and move with these people. So thank you so much for watching. I hope you enjoyed it.